The journey through life often unfolds in distinct phases, each carrying its own unique set of pressures and transformations. For many, age 25 emerges as a particularly poignant juncture, a veritable crossroads where the idealistic expectations of youth collide with the often unforgiving realities of adulthood. This isn't merely a chronological milestone. It's a psychological and emotional transition point, marking the definitive end of one chapter and the daunting beginning of another. The transition from the dreamy student years into the full embrace of adult life is fraught with unspoken pressures. As a student, the future often felt like a boundless canvas, filled with possibilities, intellectual curiosity, and a relatively sheltered existence from the harsh demands of the real world. Academic deadlines, while challenging, rarely carried the weight of financial independence, career trajectory, or long-term commitments. Yet, upon entering the professional sphere and navigating personal relationships in a more mature context, individuals are suddenly thrust into a landscape full of pressure. This pressure isn't just about performance in a job. It's about establishing a stable identity, finding purpose, and meeting a myriad of unarticulated societal benchmarks. At 25, the stark contrast between what you thought you'd be and what life truly is becomes painfully clear. Perhaps one envisioned the rapid ascent up the corporate ladder, a clear career path, or a perfect personal life mirroring idealized media portrayals. However, the lived reality often involves navigating bureaucratic workplaces, facing unexpected rejections, struggling with financial constraints, or experiencing the complexities of relationships that don't fit a fairy tale script. This dissonance between the imagined future and the present reality can be profoundly unsettling, breeding disillusionment and self-doubt. The dream starts to fray at the edges, replaced by the often messy intricacies of daily existence. Furthermore, a significant internal conflict arises. The contradiction between what you genuinely want and what society dictates you should want. Society, through its pervasive norms and narratives, subtly implants ideas of success, happiness, and fulfillment. For a 25-year-old, this often translates into expectations of career stability, clear future plans, marriage, and perhaps even homeownership. Yet, deep within, an individual might harbor different aspirations, a desire for travel, a passion for an unconventional art form, a need for more time for self-discovery, or simply a reluctance to commit to a predefined path. This internal battle between intrinsic desires and extrinsic pressures can be exhausting, leading to a sense of fragmentation. It's the struggle of the authentic self against the prescribed role. And at 25, this conflict often reaches a fever pitch as the individual grapples with defining their own truth amidst a cacophony of external voices. This period, therefore, is not merely about reaching a quarter-century mark. It's about confronting the fundamental questions of identity, purpose, and autonomy in the face of burgeoning adult responsibilities. Reasons why you feel lost at 25. The unsettling feeling of being adrift at 25, of lacking clear direction when others seem to have it all figured out, is a common yet often isolating experience. This sense of being lost isn't random. It stems from a confluence of factors, both external and internal, that converge during this pivotal stage of life. Understanding these underlying reasons can help demystify the confusion and offer a path towards self-compassion and clarity. One of the most insidious culprits behind this feeling of aimlessness is the pervasive habit of comparing yourself with others, both on social media and in real life. Social media platforms, in particular, curate highly polished, idealized versions of reality. Your peers appear to be effortlessly achieving career milestones, traveling the world, getting engaged, or launching successful ventures. This constant exposure to seemingly perfect lives creates an illusion of universal progress and success, making your own journey feel inadequate or exceptionally slow. In real life, the pressure continues as conversations often revolve around career trajectories, relationship statuses, and future plans, reinforcing the idea that everyone else is on a clear upward trajectory. This relentless comparison fosters a corrosive sense of inadequacy, feeding the narrative that you are somehow behind or fundamentally flawed for not having a perfectly articulated life plan. Another significant reason for feeling directionless is the simple fact that many young adults have never truly had the time to listen to themselves because they're always running the deadlines of life. From childhood, life often feels like a series of checkpoints. Excel in school, get into a good university, secure an internship, and land a first job. Each phase comes with its own set of external expectations and a frantic pace of activity designed to meet them. There's little room, if any, for quiet introspection, for exploring nascent interests, or for truly understanding one's own inner landscape. This relentless pursuit of external milestones means that individuals rarely pause to ask profound questions like, what genuinely excites me? Or what kind of life truly resonates with my soul? By 25, this constant doing without sufficient being can lead to an inner void, a realization that while you've met many external demands, you haven't cultivated a deep connection with your own desires. Furthermore, the influence of family and relatives' expectations plays a critical role in shaping this sense of confusion. From a young age, family members, driven by love and a desire for their children's success, often project their own aspirations or societal norms onto them. You should be a doctor. You need a stable government job. It's time to settle down and start a family. These pronouncements, though well-intentioned, can inadvertently stifle an individual's emerging sense of self. The core issue is that while expectations are abundant, no one truly asks you what you genuinely like or want. This creates an internal conflict. The desire to please loved ones and meet their expectations often clashes with an unarticulated, nascent sense of one's own preferences. The weight of these external expectations can become so heavy that it obscures one's true desires, making it incredibly difficult to discern authentic personal goals from inherited or imposed ones. Finally, a fundamental contributor to feeling lost at 25 is a lack of diverse experiences to explore oneself. Often, young adults enter the workforce having specialized in one field, or they fall into a routine that offers little opportunity for varied exposure. Without diverse experiences, whether through different types of jobs, travel, volunteering, hobbies, or meeting people from vastly different walks of life, it's challenging to truly discover what sparks joy, what ignites passion, or what career paths genuinely align with one's skills and values. Self-discovery is often an iterative process, requiring exposure to a wide range of stimuli. If life has been too narrowly defined, the canvas for self-exploration remains largely blank, leaving the individual feeling unprepared to articulate what they want simply because they haven't had enough raw material to build that understanding. Together, these factors create a perfect storm of uncertainty, making the 25-year-old journey feel less like a clear path and more like a dense fog. Not knowing what you want is not a failure, but a stage of transformation. In a society that often champions early clarity, definitive goals, and linear progression, the feeling of not knowing what you want at 25 can easily be misconstrued as a personal failing, a sign of being behind, or even a lack of ambition. However, this perspective fundamentally misunderstands the nature of personal growth and the reality of human development. Rather than a setback, not knowing what you want at 25 is not a failure, but a profound stage of transformation. It is, in fact, a crucial and often necessary period of recalibration and deeper inquiry. Indeed, far from being a negative sign, this sense of ambiguity is often a good signal. You are asking questions instead of living automatically like a machine. Many people move through life on autopilot, ticking boxes and following prescribed paths without ever truly pausing to examine if those paths genuinely resonate with them. They might achieve external markers of success, but harbor a persistent, nagging sense of emptiness or unfulfillment. If you are questioning your direction, feeling a sense of unease about a predefined future, or grappling with uncertainty, it means you are actively engaging with your inner self. You are refusing to settle for a life that doesn't feel authentic, demonstrating a nascent desire for something more meaningful than mere compliance. This internal questioning is the very first step towards conscious living, a vital departure from robotic existence. Furthermore, the very fact that when you are still confused, you are still searching for a meaningful life, not just living to get by. The absence of a clear destination often implies a deeper quest. Those who are truly apathetic or unengaged might simply resign themselves to whatever path presents itself, accepting mediocrity or dissatisfaction without protest. But if you are feeling confused, it's because you inherently believe there is a more fulfilling, purposeful existence to be found. This confusion is a testament to your innate drive for significance, a refusal to accept a superficial life. It's an active, albeit sometimes painful, engagement with the fundamental questions of purpose and happiness, signifying a commitment to finding a life that truly nourishes your spirit, rather than merely enduring it. Crucially, the current ambiguity is the necessary ground to sow new seeds. Think of it as a fallow period in agriculture, a time when the soil rests, replenishes nutrients, and prepares itself for new growth. If you had a perfectly clear, rigid plan at 25, you might be tempted to blindly follow it, potentially missing out on unforeseen opportunities or richer possibilities that emerge with time and experience. The very act of not having a fixed blueprint creates space for exploration, experimentation, and serendipity. It allows for new ideas, passions, and paths to emerge organically, unconstrained by preconceived notions. This period of not knowing is a fertile ground where you can genuinely explore different interests, acquire new skills, meet diverse people, and ultimately discover aspects of yourself that might otherwise remain dormant. It's a time for gathering inspiration, for broad exploration, and for allowing your authentic self to emerge unhurried and unburdened by premature definitions. In essence, the confusion of 25 isn't a dead end. It's a wide open field, inviting you to plant the seeds of your authentic future. What you can do when you don't know what you want. Feeling adrift at 25, unsure of your true desires, can be an overwhelming experience, but it's also a powerful opportunity for profound self-discovery. Instead of succumbing to paralysis or despair, there are concrete, actionable steps you can take to navigate this period of uncertainty and move towards greater clarity. First and foremost, allow yourself to experience and experiment. Life is not a linear equation. It's an ongoing experiment. If you don't know what you want, the most effective approach is to try a variety of things. This can mean trying out different jobs or roles, even if they seem unrelated to your initial field of study. Sometimes what you thought you'd enjoy in theory vastly differs from the reality of daily work. Conversely, a seemingly mundane task might unexpectedly spark an interest. Beyond formal employment, learn new skills that pique your curiosity, even if they don't seem immediately useful. This could be coding a new language, playing an instrument, or a craft. These experiences not only broaden your horizons, but also provide clues about your aptitudes and passions. Consider traveling solo to immerse yourself in different cultures and perspectives, forcing you to rely on yourself and expanding your worldview. And critically, start journaling. Regularly writing down your thoughts, feelings, observations, and reactions to your experiences can help you identify recurring themes, hidden desires, and sources of joy or frustration that you might not consciously recognize. These diverse experiences are not distractions. They are data points in your quest for self-understanding. Secondly, it's vital to reduce the expectation of having it all at 25. Instead, focus on understanding yourself a little better each day. The societal pressure to have a perfectly stable career, a serious relationship, and a clear life plan by 25 is immense, but it's also unrealistic for many. Release yourself from the tyranny of these external benchmarks. Shift your focus from grand, definitive goals to small, incremental insights. The goal isn't to wake up one day with a complete blueprint for your life. It's to gradually peel back the layers of who you are. This means celebrating small discoveries. Today I learned I really enjoy problem solving, or I realized this kind of social interaction drains my energy, or I felt a genuine sense of purpose doing X. These seemingly minor insights accumulate, slowly forming a clearer picture of your preferences, strengths, and what truly makes you tick. It's a journey of continuous, gentle exploration, not a race to a predetermined finish line. Third, and perhaps most challenging, learn to listen to yourself. In a world full of external noise and advice, cultivating an inner voice is crucial. Ask yourself profound, honest questions. What truly makes me happy? Is it the recognition, the process, the people, or the impact? What activity makes me lose track of time without regret? This is a powerful indicator of flow states where your skills and interests align perfectly. It could be reading, creating, solving puzzles, helping others, or simply engaging in deep conversation. Pay attention to moments of genuine joy, fulfillment, and engagement, as well as moments of deep boredom, frustration, or apathy. These emotional cues are invaluable feedback mechanisms from your authentic self. This requires quiet time, reflection, and an honest willingness to confront uncomfortable truths. Finally, communicate with people who share similar feelings, or who have gone through this stage. Isolation can intensify feelings of being lost. Seek out conversations with peers who are also navigating uncertainty. Sharing experiences can validate your feelings and foster a sense of solidarity. Even more powerfully, connect with individuals who have already passed through their own periods of professional or personal ambiguity. Their insights, lessons learned, and stories of eventual clarity can provide immense reassurance and practical guidance. Hearing that it's normal to feel lost, and that clarity often comes with time and intentional exploration, can significantly alleviate the pressure and provide a roadmap for your own journey. By taking these proactive steps, you transform a period of confusion into a powerful phase of intentional self-discovery. Real-life stories. The notion that one must have life perfectly figured out by 25 is a modern societal construct, often debunked by the rich tapestry of real-life experiences. Countless individuals, now thriving and fulfilled, embarked on meandering, uncertain paths, only to discover their true calling much later than convention dictates. These stories offer powerful reassurance that ambiguity at 25 is not a failing, but often a necessary prelude to profound self-discovery. Consider the individual who only found their passion and achieved success at 40. In a world that often celebrates 30 under 30 lists, this narrative can feel countercultural. Imagine someone who spent their 20s in a string of unfulfilling jobs, perhaps conforming to parental expectations or societal norms. They might have felt a deep sense of inadequacy as peers seemingly excelled. Yet, through accumulated life experience, new interests sparked, or a sudden opportunity arose that resonated deeply with a hitherto unacknowledged skill or desire. This person, rather than giving up, allowed themselves the grace to explore, learn, and grow. Their delay wasn't a deficit. It was the essential incubation period for a passion that required maturity, perspective, and perhaps even a degree of quiet perseverance. Their story underscores that timelines for success and fulfillment are entirely individual, and genuine passion often blossoms when least expected, long after the initial societal benchmarks have passed. Another common and incredibly relatable narrative is that of someone who studied Field A, worked in Field B, and finally found happiness in Field C, and that's perfectly normal. The pressure to choose a university major that dictates a lifelong career path is immense, often placed upon teenagers who have limited real-world experience. It's entirely possible to excel in an academic field, Field A, only to find that the practical application of that knowledge in the workforce, Field B, is deeply unfulfilling. This might lead to a period of professional wandering, of taking jobs that are just jobs, while an internal yearning for something else persists. The beauty of this journey is the courage to pivot, to acknowledge that the initial path wasn't the right fit, and to actively seek out a new direction. Field C, the place where genuine happiness is found, often emerges from a combination of self-reflection, experimentation, and accumulated life lessons from both Field A and Field B. These shifts are not signs of indecision, but rather of evolving self-awareness, and a commitment to authentic living. This iterative process of discovery and redirection is not only normal, but often leads to a more deeply satisfying career. Finally, there are the inspiring stories of those who are perceived as slow starters, but ultimately arrive exactly where they belong. This could be someone who took several gap years, pursued multiple short-term gigs, or perhaps returned to education later in life. While their peers might have raced ahead on a seemingly clear trajectory, the slow starter was busy gathering diverse experiences, reflecting deeply, and allowing their path to unfold organically. They weren't adhering to a timeline, but rather responding to an internal rhythm. This often meant navigating periods of doubt, explaining their choices to concerned family members, and enduring the occasional pang of envy when observing others' seemingly swift progress. Yet, by prioritizing their inner compass over external pressure, they ultimately landed in a place that felt profoundly right, a career, a lifestyle, or community where they truly belonged and could flourish. Their journey emphasizes that the speed of arrival is far less important than the destination's resonance with one's authentic self. These real-life examples collectively dismantle the myth of the perfectly linear life, offering comfort and inspiration to all those navigating the beautiful, often messy process of self-discovery at any age. Conclusion: age 25. Nitrogen monoxide, need to know everything, just enough courage to keep searching. Ultimately, as you navigate the sometimes turbulent waters of your mid-20s, remember this liberating truth. Not knowing what you want at 25, it's okay. What matters is that you don't give up on the journey of finding what makes you live authentically. This isn't a license for complacency, but an embrace of patience and persistence. It acknowledges that the path to self-discovery is rarely linear and often requires navigating periods of ambiguity. The true mistake isn't being lost. It's abandoning the search altogether. Your journey isn't about perfectly defined milestones, but about the courageous, ongoing quest to align your life with your deepest self. Keep exploring, keep learning, and trust that clarity will emerge through the process of living and daring to be truly you. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe.